my first YouTube live. Okay, we can be informal. Yes? You can ask questions, because there's no point. You know, it's funny. Before I came here, I was sitting with a group of people, and they were asking me, what are you going to talk about? And can you tell us about your time with Guruji? And I said something. I said, you know, the tragedy of wisdom is inevitable, meaning whatever the speaker wants to say, the listener is not going to necessarily hear. There's always a gap between the speaker and the listener. Yes? Always. And can you imagine the gap that exists between a guru and us? Because the consciousness from where Gurudev operates, where a self-realized being, Gurudev, operates, is so far from the consciousness that we live and experience. Correct? I mean, just think, just between a teacher and a student, whether it's in math or art or music, there's a big gap. The teacher wants to communicate and share and give all the wisdom away, but the student may or may not be able to capture what's being given. True? So that's why I said maybe we have to talk about the tragedy of wisdom. It's inevitable. No? So in that case, it's good if the speaker speaks what the listener wants to hear. Otherwise, the gap only gets bigger. Actually, in my first meeting with Gurudev in Los Angeles, I saw a little sign with Gurudev's picture. Underneath it said Pandit Ravi Shankar. They used to call him Panditji at that time in 88, 89. Most of you were not even an idea in your parents' existence. Right? You were not even a bleep somewhere. But anyway, I saw a little sign, his photo with his name underneath, with Vedic Master. I had no idea what Vedic means. I knew a Pandit Ravi Shankar's name. Guess who? The sitarist. So we do what we do. The student, myself in this case, took preconceived idea, a name, as if it's the only existing name and a person. Sitar player, Pandit Ravi Shankar. I put the two together. What did I do with the word Vedic? Because it doesn't fit, right? Vedic and sitar music do not go together. But since I don't know too much about sitar music either, or classical music either, I figured some music system, Vedic, because I had never heard the word Vedic before. Are you following what I'm saying? I'm saying that our mind deduces, makes conclusions based on a little bit of information that we have. I knew nothing about Pandit Ravi Shankar, Gurudev. I knew nothing about Pandit Ravi Shankar, the sitarist, other than he's a sitarist who's 71, 70 years old. And I knew nothing about Vedic, but I lumped it together into my little fixed idea, conditioning, information, and decided, oh, it's the musician. And that's how I got to Gurudev, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. Are you with me? That's how I got to him. And when I got there, at some point I noticed the beads, the mala around his neck, which gave me a new piece of information which triggered a new set of learnings and experiences and data. Oh, Baba. Baba in a derogatory sense. Oh my God, this is one of those guru types from India. Are you with me? Just because the beads indicate something, otherwise I still had no idea. And the word enlightenment to me meant an expert. Did you guys know what enlightenment meant before? Yes or no? Yes or no? No. I mean, I don't think we know today. I think we have our ideas based on some conditioning. But I don't think we know today. Again, I'm pointing to the gap between the consciousness of Gurudev and us, or a teacher and a student, or a speaker and a listener. Because we listen with what's already in our head. We read, we listen, we communicate, we share, not in the moment, but what's already in our head. We deduce, we interpret. Yes? So I did the same thing. Ooh, some guru type. But then I decided I should leave. But I didn't. Why? Because I was the only Indian person in the room. And somehow I felt I have to stay, I have to represent him. If I leave, it makes all of India look bad. What a big ego. Can you imagine? If I leave, like, who cares if I stay or go? But it's perception, it's stuff we have in our head that we use to continuously make small to the big decisions. Isn't it? It sounds ridiculous, but really, I thought, I can't leave. I'm the only other Indian person. If I leave, it makes all of India look bad. So I stayed in the corner, hiding somewhere, behind a man that was sitting that was much taller, but I had a question in my head that was there because I used to go to this bookstore, the Bodhi Tree bookstore in Los Angeles, and it had a wall of saints, Buddha and Christian saints and Krishna and so on. And I used to wonder, what would it be like if I met one of these kind of people, beings in my life? It was a question I would have. I used to spend my weekends there. It was a bookstore that served tea. It had beautiful benches, beautiful music, and you could sit there for hours reading and they wouldn't throw you out. So that's how I used to spend my weekend. And I was new to LA. I had moved from New York to LA. In fact, I wanted to go to the sitar concert, not because I was interested in sitar music, but why do you think I wanted to go? 25-year-old girl in Los Angeles, left New York, went to LA. What do you think she wanted to do? Exactly. Did you hear? My father was pushing me to get married. Get married, get married. And he wanted someone Indian, so I thought that's a place to meet someone Indian. There was just me and the Indian, the ultimate Gurudev, that's it. Anyway, I stayed, but I had a question in my head. How would I really know a true master? How would I recognize someone from one of those walls? Because if they wear blue jeans like I would blow them off, right? Come on. How can you be? Look, you look just like me, you're just like me. We have our ideas. I had my ideas. You with me? Are you listening? Yes. Is this interesting? Yes. Okay, so we keep going this direction. Otherwise, you should interrupt with questions, okay? Like, what do you mean? So, if he wore like a dhoti, a yellow silk one, because I had pictures of Krishna in my head and pictures of Shivji meditating, and that was pretty much it. So if they looked like that, then what would I do? Blow that off. Oh, come on. get a different uniform. Do you see? So the question was very real. How would I recognize a master? How would I know? And my chest was spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. You know, like this warm, big ball, like circulating like that. And at that moment, Gurudev asked the group, what I said to you earlier, it would be good if the speaker speaks what the listener wants to hear. And so he asked what he does many times, what would you like me to speak about? And then people got up and they threw out big words, compassion, love, enthusiasm, right? Enlightenment. And my left brain, lawyerly mind, because I was a prosecutor before in Los Angeles, when I met Gurudev, it was sitting there saying, oh my God, these people, very judgmental, these people need to get a job. Because when I walked in, they were doing pendulum, dowsing, and hugging each other. Lots of unwanted hugs going on in the room, Also, when I walked in, I thought it was going to be a music concert, right? Until I saw Guruji. There was a basket on a table at the entrance, and it said, donation. You can imagine what was in the basket. It's Art of Living. Nothing. It said donation. Listen, my mind said, how is this possible? This musician who's so famous on a donation basis? It doesn't make sense, isn't it? So what did my mind do? Preconceived idea. Oh, he hasn't been in Los Angeles for a long time. He has lost his following, so that's why it's donations. So I walked to the table, I dropped 3 20s, hoping to inspire somebody, and I went to the back, sitting there, waiting. And Gurudev came in Guru Standard Time, timely. When he arrives, it's timely, but on the clock, it didn't register at all timely. So you can imagine the noise in the head. Oh my God, can we start on time? We don't ever start on time. Lots of noise going on inside the head when he came until I saw the beads. And then my chest started spinning. And then the question came up, okay, how will I know? It's a question for you. It's a question even today. How do we know? So when everyone stood up saying all of those things, the first question he picked up on were the 2 questions I had. One was, how would I know? And the other question I had, which I had left on an answering machine, I didn't tell you a beginning of the story, which is there was a magazine in which I saw that picture with Pandit Ravi Shankar, assuming it was the musician. When I picked it up, it kept falling down. The magazine had doodles on it, so I kept picking it up to throw it away, and it opened there. There was a phone number. I called to find out about the background of Pandit Ravi Shankar. Honestly, I have 0 clue about classical music. Why do I even want to ask about the background? But I did. That's what my message was. And question in the room on that day was, can you please tell us about your background? And he picked up that question first. Background, clouds, and the sky. Well, guess what? Behind him was a mural of clouds and sky. And the room laughed. And I thought, Why are they laughing? That's not very funny. Because I was hiding, slouching down like this in the back. So I looked and I saw the clouds and the sky, and then I gave him a little bit of a tick. Oh, okay, that's not too bad. That's a little funny, cute. This is what we do in our life. From start to finish, from the morning till we go to sleep. Even when we go to sleep, we don't stop. The mind is continuously deducing, concluding, trying to fit what happens in front of us into the little box of information, data that we have gathered. Yes or no? Are we conscious of it? Yes or no? I don't think we are. A little bit. And that too, if we're pushed to become conscious. Otherwise, what we see in our head, what we conclude, what we believe becomes our truth. Yes? I want you to think about it. That day, had I not walked into the room and noticed the beads, which I was thinking about doing, the photo I saw was of a young person that barely looked 16 years old. And I knew the musician was in his 70s. I had to do something with that discrepancy. Correct? Because we, human beings, our small mind needs everything to line up. We do not like discord, discrepancy. Isn't it? We don't like it. We need to make sense of everything. We need everything to fit in alignment. So how did I fix it? Oh, musicians, famous people, they just put up a young photo. That's how I fixed it in my head. And had I walked out, because when Gurudev was not there by the standard of the clock, I thought of leaving. Till this day, I not only would believe, but I would convince everybody that in the year 1989, on such and such a date, Pandit Ravi Shankar, the musician, came to LA and he had a concert on donation. And other people would say, he never came. And I would say, you don't know. She's stupid. He's stupid. Oh my God, they're telling me. I was there in person. I saw it. I saw the poster. And now they're telling me he wasn't there. Pfft, don't believe them. Yes? I would stand up for this belief which has no basis. None. How often do we do that in our life? Not just with each other, but even as we interact with Gurudev, even as we hear directions, instructions, guidance, knowledge, wisdom from Gurudev, we have a huge gap between what is said and what we take away. And if it doesn't line up, if it all doesn't fit in a reason, in understanding, you'll see, you'll go ask somebody else about the same issue you already asked Gurudev about. Yes or no? Do we not do that? Yes or no? We do. Or we go get an opinion. I have to talk to you, Didi. Why? I talked to Guruji and this is what he said. And I don't know what he meant. Oh, tell me, what did you ask him? Should I move to Los Angeles? Should I quit my job? And what was his response? Why do you want to do that? Is that difficult to understand? Is it? Is that a yes or a no? Are you sure? Yes. But not for that person. You know? Not for that person. Anyway, so I stayed Very long, amazing story short, I did the course. When that question, how do you tell a true master, that question that was really, and remember I told you somebody asked that question. That was the second thing that he responded to. He said, see, you cannot hide from a master. And I was hiding. I had slid down behind someone because I was feeling a little like, why am I here? What am I doing? What is this? But I can't leave. What are these people talking about? The pendulum swingers, the unwanted huggers, and all of that was too much for me. And now I'm one of them. But anyway, I was hiding. And when he responded, you cannot hide from a master, between two rows, I peeked to, for the first time, catch a look at him, because I hadn't seen him yet. I had just seen the beads and the side of the beard, And when I looked, he was looking straight down the aisle, and then I jumped back in my place. And then I cried the whole time sitting there, judging the tears. Why am I crying? This doesn't make sense. This is not professional. This is terrible. The only Indian person in the room and she's dribbling away, crying. This really makes India look bad. I can't do this. Oh my God, self-importance. Just think about it. Oh, it makes India look bad. What? Okay. And then as I was walking out of the course, that first event, it was a talk actually. It was an intro talk by Gurudev. Can you imagine that now? Intro talk? I mean, he still does a lot of talks, but it was at that time called an intro talk with Pandit Ravi Shankar, basically, So as I was walking out, at the door was Michael Fishman. Do you all know him? Yeah. Mikey. Michael Fishman was at the door, and then he came over with his hands in his pocket. So what do you think? Are you going to take the course? In my head I was thinking, get away from me. Don't talk to me. Get away. But you can't say that, although I've been known to do worse. Yes, it was very nice, and my chest was spinning. I couldn't stop crying, and I couldn't figure out why. It was something that no longer fit in my box. Do you understand what I'm saying? It was a moment where I finally had stopped or gotten out of me. By grace, by some gift of God and Guru, something happened in that room where I no longer was in my existence that I knew. I had been thrown out and I didn't know what to do. Actually, this is the inevitable journey of life. Life continuously brings circumstances in front of us to get us out of this box of thinking, this box of data and information and beliefs and assumptions and ideas and fixed rigidness about ourselves and about people and life around us. Events happen, circumstances happen that make us come out into the unknown. And it's in that unknown love and light come through. No? But what it throws at us is not always pleasant. Is it true? If it's only pleasant, you don't go towards love and light, you go more towards self-centeredness, me-ness, I-ness. True or false? When do we look inside? When everything's wonderful? No. We don't go to the unknown when everything is going the way we want, because that by itself means you're in your box. Yes? By definition, if you say, things are going my way, I'm so happy, you have strengthened the fixed understanding, ideas, assumptions, beliefs, learning. You are in the box of known. We can call it comfort zone, but that's not really even what I mean. Known. That which you already know. We don't look inside at that moment, and we certainly spend a lifetime avoiding the unknown because it scares the hell out of us. Yes or no? We are really afraid to jump out of our box into something new. And the beauty of what we do here as teachers and sevaks and volunteers is we're repeatedly asked to be outside of our limited box of known. No? I mean, for me, I was very fortunate. Gurudev moved me from one city to another city, but always a new city and a new country. So nothing that I knew could work, or I should say not all of what I knew worked. I had to reinvent in the moment some other way to approach. Do you understand what I'm saying? It didn't work that way. I couldn't keep doing the same exact thing that I do here, go do it in Brazil or in Norway or in Japan or in Hong Kong. Everything's different there. People are different there. Their language, their approach, their conditioning, everything. So I had to show up in the moment. I had to jump into the unknown. This was a huge gift from Gurudev, huge. Because the logic, the rationale, otherwise would have remained in its own container. Do you see what I'm saying? You know? We are very afraid of what we do not know, what we cannot contain, what we cannot control, what we cannot reason, what we cannot fit into a box. But the inevitable journey by life itself, life, the big thing, life, is to keep throwing unknown things at us. And by our conditioned standards, these unknown things are not pleasant. Yes? The crack in the iceberg comes in the challenging moments, in the unknown moments. When you have to deal with people you don't know, when you have to deal with hardships, whether it's health or finance or family or relationships, or working with a group of people, teaching. Correct? But do we embrace that, or do we try to find a way to get around it and skirt the issue to make sure that what we believe is the way things go? What do we really do? A or B? B. B. And I was fortunate, as I said. It's an unconventional journey, this, what we're discussing, my journey, right? I said it's inevitable. Whether we like it or not, all of us are headed towards expanding. Consciousness, life, is forever expanding, yes? It has no container. And we are life itself. We are part of life itself. So we are also continuously expanding, becoming more conscious if you want, aware, self, big S, self-aware. It's an inevitable journey. We're all headed to the same goal, the same, quote, purpose. We know it or not, like it or not, embrace it or not. That's what life is doing, kicking us to move forward. No? But moving forward is not so simple. I give you a simple example for me. So for whatever reason, I hated being a guest. When my grandmother would invite me in the summer, like we would go for the weekend to my Ba's house, I would go making an agreement with my mom. When she says stay overnight, spend the weekend, you have to say I need her home. If not, I don't go. I hated being a guest. So at some point, Gurudev called, invited me to come to US. I did the basic course, I did the advanced course. There's lots of stories in between, which somewhere at some point I will tell you. But eventually I came to US with Gurudev. In fact, I'll tell you a story before I get there. So after the basic course and the advanced course, he called my landline. Remember, there are no cell phones, no computers at this time. He called, this is Panditji, Jai Gurudev. Sorry? Panditji. I'm sorry, who? What? Panditji. Oh my God, how did you get my number? Do you see what I'm saying? Life is throwing an unknown. And what am I doing? Grabbing something fixed. It's a tiny example, but look at how the mind works. I'm telling you, we do this all the time. You just may not be conscious of it. So then I say, oh yes, tell me, Jai Gurudev. And he said, all over the world, people are waiting. And I have to travel so much to Europe, and I will come and go, US, Canada. So you are a lawyer? I say, yes. He says, so get me a green card. Okay. I say, okay, may I ask a few questions? And he says, So I say, where do your parents live? Your parents are in America? No. Any siblings, brothers or sisters in America? No. Any family? Big family? No, but I mean your family? Can you imagine that question to Gurudev? Because we're all family. And I'm coming from, did your mom give birth to anybody else that's here? You see? So then I said, okay, how about as a special talent working in a temple? And he says, मैं पुजारी थोड़ी हूँ. As if I know the difference between pujari and guru and enlightened and monk. I say, okay, I didn't mean anything insulting by it because it was clearly not the thing. Pujari, for some of you, it means I'm not a temple priest, So I say then, okay, well, I'm going to give you an idea, but if you say I said it, I will have to deny it. Why am I saying that? Because I'm about to suggest something as a lawyer you cannot suggest. So I say, how about marriage? And he immediately leaps and says, no. Not this lifetime. So my mind is okay, very nice comment. I know as an Indian-born, India person, lifetimes and all of that, but you don't hear it in a conversation, So I kind of think, okay, not this lifetime. So then I say, okay, I have to think about it and let me circle back with you. I don't even think like, how do I reach you? What's your phone number? Nothing. We hang up the phone. Jai Gurudev, he asks, how I am and so on. We hang up the phone. 3, maybe 4 days later, who calls? Panditji. Gurudev calls. And he says, what do you think he's asking? Immediately, ho gaya? Is it done? My forehead is a little like, what? And I say, it's not like my father has a printing press of green cards. Remember, I'm in the unknown. How to interact with the Guru, how to speak with the Guru, what to say, what not to. Nobody gave me a book in the basic course or in the advanced course. No? In fact, when I was in the advanced course, I was thinking I should have done the intermediate course. Because at 5 a.m., we would gather. Gurudev would come to meditation. It was called sunrise meditation. And in US, we have been trained, don't enter the temple or in front of a guru without bathing, correct? So I would get up because I wanted a clean bathroom at like 3 in the morning, go bathe, and then go and sit in the hall right there, like I'm going to meditate. Achievement tendency, accomplish it, learn it, get it right, perfect it. You know what I'm talking about, right? If you're asking, how do I meditate? That's the same tendency. After meditating, if you're going and saying, my meditations are not good, it's a sign you're still trying to achieve. Just get it. Are you listening? Oh, I used to have amazing sadhana, but now it's not so good. What are you saying? You're saying you think you're failing. Nothing's changed. It's the same tendency couched with a nice wrapping paper. I'm meditating. Wow. Are you with me? So, 5 in the morning, bathe, go there, sit down. I'm going to meditate, learn, grow. Because the Kriya experience was mind-blowing for me. My first 2 Kriya, it was, it was kind of like Arjuna on the battlefield when Krishna says, look at me. And he goes, I can't handle this, please dumb it down. It was a little like that. Just undescribable, the experience. So that's why I was going to learn this in the advanced course, you see. This was the inspiration, so to speak. And he would arrive. Why I wanted an intermediate course is he would come, he would sit, and 5 times in 1 hour say Om. That's it. Om. Most people in that room were TM people. Transcendental meditation, And they would be like hopping and having and eyes and and me, I would open my eyes looking around. They had a mantra. I didn't have a mantra. I didn't know what I'm supposed to do between 5 and 6 in the morning, and I've been up since like 3:30. I was looking around, and many times I would see Guruji. And of course, I had to save India. mean, how can you be in front of people in a public place sleeping? That's what my mind was thinking. Oh my God, he's sleeping. What are they going to think about us? As if you've ever seen anyone sleep drooped halfway. If you sleep, your head goes klapunk, right? How stupid, how ignorant is the mind. It just keeps deducing one thing to another thing to another thing, you know? It's naive, it's simple, it's innocent, but it's also ignorant. Correct? It's very sure that he's sleeping. That makes it ignorance. If I would say, I don't know what's going on, now it could be naiveness or simplicity or innocence. But when I say, I know he is sleeping, what's happened? I'm riding ignorance. That's it. Listen, don't listen to this as my story. You should refer to it. How many times do you ride in your life with, I know? The truth is, we don't know anything. Whatever we believe has no basis of reality because it's based on some memory that we picked up when we were 5 years old, which was shoved into our heads, hypnotic, osmosis. They were never conscious decisions, correct? So this would go on, you know? We meditate, then we come back for hollow and empties, meditations, 3 hours, 3 to 4 meditations in one session. Each one 50 minutes to 1 hour and something long. Gurudev would mouth the meditations. At the end of each meditation, he would say, you can stretch your legs for a couple of moments if you like. If you like, rigor mortis has set in. You know, the leg doesn't open. What does he mean, if you like? And he meant 2 minutes was 2 minutes. Let's sit back up. And he would start again. And in the meditation, he would be in that state, you know. At some point, early morning hours, there were flowers around him, little flowers, little baby daisies. I would go and collect them and then sit like a little bit towards the side because I was in the unknown and the known. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to meditate. I accept I can't meditate. I tell one of the volunteers, I need an intermediate course. You guys should have told me. I took 10 days off. It was a 10-day silence course, or 8 days. You know? You should have told me. No, I will talk to Panditji. But they hadn't come back with an answer yet, you know? So the next day, all those flowers, and I sat there to save India. He would do the meditation, and when I see him drooping, I would take some flowers in my hand and and he would go. Back again. So I would wait for the moment. Couple more flowers, and just after the instruction, as you breathe in, this is how I spend the first 3 or 4 days of my silence course. I think he made me a silence course teacher so that I would learn. I think this is true for all of us. We're teachers because we need to learn the most. You know? It's not... What I'm saying to you is the journey of life, the more you enter the unknown, the more you become actually in the known, conscious. But we're hell-bent on keeping everything the same. You know? Anyway, eventually I got the instruction from Gurudev, because I couldn't meditate in the morning. Why am I getting up at 3:30? Om. At least in the other thing, there were instructions and silence in between. And I had flowers to play with, right? To just watch my breath. She can just watch her breath. Okay. Watch my breath. It was a profound course. That got me committed. That opened a window to something I could never imagine. And it was in this simple sutra of sensation, emotion, breath are connected. You know, right? From the advanced course, yes? Breath, emotion, thought, and sensation are connected. And it lands on some object outside. And we keep trying to fix the object, never the pattern, the connection between thought, emotion, sensation. And that if we break that pattern, if we become conscious of that pattern, if we observe that pattern, you delink it. You now become free from rag, dvesh, craving, and aversion. Now you find freedom. Now you actually land in the knownness, the bigness of the known, consciousness. Yes? This, to me, was, if we bottle this is, there's nothing bigger than this. First, let's bottle the breath, because look what it can do. Then let's bottle this. Now it can save the planet and everybody, and you can make oodles of money on it. Don't forget, it's a lawyer. Guju. You know? Both sides are going. But that actually sold me. That made me decide, no matter what, I'm going to sit in this course. Now I don't care. No more saving India, no more anything, come what may. I don't know if you did this, but when I sat, you know when you fold your legs, sometimes it folds, but they stay up in the air like this. You know what I'm talking about? Of course, this is how legs get folded, all on the ground, yes? But at that time, when I folded my legs into a half lotus, they hung up, you know? And when I sat for the advanced course, I would put one cushion in the beginning, second cushion. Before you know it, you're tilted like this. Why? Because the bum, it burns. Legs burn, right? So I was sitting like this. I tried stretching my legs. I tried leaning on the wall. I tried putting cushions here, cushions. I tried everything. Short of taking my bed down, I tried everything. No? Nothing was working. But when I heard this sutra, this depth of what he was offering, I got rid of everything. He had made a statement. He said, see, your mind is bigger than your body. Your body moves when you say it moves. He did that, you know, he moved his hand. Your body moves when you say it moves, not a moment before. Right? Isn't that a profound statement? Like, it's obvious, but it was not so obvious. And actually, as obvious as it is, we're not consciously operating with that. If you're sitting there, you get uncomfortable, you'll notice you'll immediately adjust. It's not conscious. True or false? We're not. The body runs us. The mind is not running the body because we're like constantly fidgeting. This is no good, that's no good, it's too hot, it's cold, why is it like this? That tells you who's in charge. Yes? But there was grace in that moment. Something struck me and I decided, all right, I'm going to let it go. And I sat. And I sat, and I sat, and the burning in my legs and in the spine, and I would smile. I decided, look, the worst that's going to happen is I'll die. But I was happy with that. Look how the mind has to fix things. Why was I happy? Because at least in India, my mom and dad could say, oh, our daughter died while she was meditating. You see what I'm saying? There's a little bit of that's nice. Somehow they get to say something other than she died. She was with the guru and she was meditating and she died. Woo! I figured that's worth it. Okay, I'm going to go for it, This all seems like a happening, and it is a happening, but it is the perfect thing to move this instrument forward. This is the grace. This is Gurudev. You don't think he knew about those flowers? Sometime later, when I came here to India, and on my first advanced course, he was in his kutir, Shakti kutir. I was in the advanced course. I had the little chant, at that time we mouthed I had the chant, played the little tape, the chant. When it finished, I went to go to give the tape back to him, to his room. And I knocked on the door, Gudiya, come in. I go in, and, and in that course, on my first advanced course, it's the one and only time I had this experience till recently, where I was drooped forward. And in my head, while I was drooped forward during the course that I was teaching, awareness would come. Oh my God, you're in public. Sit back straight. This is not good. This is Gurudev's course and his knowledge. You should be proper. Sit back straight. But my head would drop back. You following me? When I went to give the tape back and he said, I went in. Were you sleeping? First sentence. I closed the door. I got a little surprised. He knew. He knew all along. And he's too big of an unknown for us to really fathom, to really take in. So we have glimpses of the vastness of him, of that unknown, and then we again fall back into our reason and our logic and understanding and trying to fit everything in its place. And our journey, my journey, unconventional, inevitable as it may be, in life, it doesn't matter who we are, it requires the willingness to free fall, to take it on. And we don't. We either resist it or we run after. But we don't really take it on. And if I had to tell you my biggest lessons in whatever many years it is, since 88, is the lesson of taking on whatever comes, particularly if it's challenging. To really own it, to self-referral, because it's the universe, it's the Guru, it's grace taking me to my higher, greater good. It's putting a crack in the iceberg so that the iceberg can melt, so that the light can penetrate, so that the heat can go through. If I had to come up with a lesson, that would be the lesson that repeats again and again and again, not to try to lock myself up into something. Not that that's easy, because that's what my mind wants to do. That's what all our mind want to do, but I'm just speaking for myself, Legal mind, rational, logical mind, an intellect that does work. It's not like my intellect doesn't serve me. It does work. If I take on a project, the buddhi does get me from A to B to C. So you rely on it even more. Are you with me? We rely on it even more, but we have to transcend if we are on the path with the Guru. We have to align with him, with space, with the unknown, with field of all possibilities, not with field of more possibilities. Can you distinguish the two? When I came to India, there was like handful of us. Gyan Mandir, Jainagar 4th block, you know Gyan Mandir? It's called, I think, Vyakti Vikas Kendra. I'm assuming it still is. Every Thursday, Gurudev used to go there for satsang. There used to be a handful of people, from which Amma and Banu, that's 2. You know? Then this cuckoo girl from Los Angeles. And there was Shanta and Mohana. You know Mohana? You know? Yeah, of course you know. She always sings the slow Om Namah Shivaya after Rudram. No? This is Mohana. She has been from that time. You want Guru stories? You should talk to her. That'll teach you to ignore people. Pay attention. You know? So, very few people. You know? And at that time, when Gurudev would say, oh, there will be so many people. From 5, you can think 500. Yes? But then if you're really a wild cat, then you go from 5 to 50,000. Can you imagine if someone says your $5 is going to give you $50,000? Would you believe them? You will not. It's a little bit of the same. Oh, there'll be so many people, millions. There's 4 here, people. Ooh, millions. What? Yes, Guruji. You don't know, nothing registers in your mind, do you see? And he would really say, so many people. So my mind would think, and also, eventually, you know, you're teaching, you're going there. But you want to be where he is, don't you? But he's always pointing the finger where? He doesn't say, come, stay. It's always, go, teach. Relax and teach. Yes or no? So my mind would think, well, if there's 5, one day we'll have like 50 teachers and we'll send them to teach and we'll retire and sit with Guruji. This was the wild imagination. 5 to 50. I think in India probably there's, 50,000. 25,000. That's all? Just 25. You have to risk. And around him, the risk has to be big. Big. Because the potentiality that you've had glimpses of is not from 5 to 50,000. It's 5 to field of all possibilities, not more possibilities. Isn't it? And you have to ask yourself, how do you operate? More or all? You'll see that we land back into a fixed box of known again. We're on an inevitable journey, really. Headed in the same place. Don't ever have this idea who got there first, before or after. Because there's just no such thing. It's all a circle, as Gurudev says, Anyway, is it my time now? What time is it? Guru Standard Time. But what time is it? 10 o'clock. Okay. How about I take 3 questions? Okay, then we end because I'm assuming there's some protocol and procedure here. Huh? And number 2? Yes. Is there a way to judge how much we have progressed? Of course, I don't have answers. I simply, based on my thoughts or opinions and judgments, but what I can say is that what Gurudev told me, maybe that gives the answer, For oneself, this he's told everybody. If you see yourself going more free, more spontaneous, more innocent, more simple, more energetic, more loving, more compassionate, more risk, more courageous, then you know you are walking the path of expanding. Yes? If you're simply achieving and remaining and feeling like you're still in that same box of contraction and self-judgment and self-deprecation, then somewhere you're not jumping into the unknown. You're holding on very tight. It's a sign you're really scared. And I'm telling you, agree to drown. Just drown. I started to tell you I hated being a guest. When I arrived to India, I was in Gyan Mandir, one building with 3 bedrooms on the ground floor, 3, 4, 5 bedrooms on the middle floor, and then the top floor was the meditation hall, Gurudev's small meeting room, and his small resting room. Yes? We arrived, and I was walking like these, I was petrified of India, these little crawly things that go in your ear. I had heard this story that this woman was sleeping and this thing crawled in her ear and it ate her brain. This was my information. So I was afraid, that it's going to go in my ear and eat my brain. Not that there was much worth saving in there, but anyway. So I found one room that had a metal bed. I'm responding to your question about leaping in. It was a metal bed that was slightly bumped in the middle. I mean, the whole bed was metal, not just the things, but the platform. And because it was off the floor, the little guys can't crawl in my ear, I decided to use that room. And I put this thin little mattress. They're not mattresses. I don't know why they call them mattresses. The things you're sleeping on in the... Okay, so I put the little mattress there and you sleep on it. If you turn aside, it'll go cha-ching. It pops, the little bump, But I decided to put up with it because nothing could crawl in my ear, and I would put up with cha-ching. If you move your legs a little, cha-ching, like these. And I tied a rope and put bed sheets so that I could have like the bedroom area and the living room area. It's a room, but still somehow, I have the front part of the room and the back part of the room. You understand? Few days there, and then, Gurudev, what is it? You're comfortable? Very comfortable. But okay, very comfortable. But this room has no window. Why not you sleep in the other room where there's a window? Because this was a middle room, No, I'm fine here. I don't want to go in the middle room. I'm fine. No, little window, it's good. No. He kept asking, okay, fine. So I pack my things and go to the room with the window. Tie a string, hang the bed sheets, sleep with my ears like these. I don't know what, I would sleep, make sure nothing crawled in my ear, petrified. 2-3 days later, grace was in my life. You don't like this room so much? No, why not you move to the first room? He moved me to every single room. Every single room. At some point, I stopped putting up the robe, the sheet. I stopped taking things out of my suitcase. I just left the clothes in the suitcase. Zip, move. Zip, move. Are you with me? What am I saying? If you're with me, what am I saying? But what am I saying for me? I was suddenly getting used to being a guest, quote unquote, or making every room my home. With a sheet, without a sheet, with a zippered suitcase or an open suitcase. It became my life. After like 3 weeks of moving me from one room to another room to another room, one Shivratri night, Gudiya, go fishing. I hadn't done TTC. Phase 1, phase 2, whatever. I hadn't done TTC. I had just come, and Shivratri night, he had a Kriya tape, handed me the tape and said, go. He was, my God, he gave me the Kriya tape. Do you understand? I was being prepped for what was to come. Because those days there were no devotees. There were no devotees around. I mean, they were devotees, but not yet conscious, right? You are all waiting. You're all devotees, but it hadn't yet cognized in that sense. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I went from place to place, house to house, city to city, sleeping sometimes on sofas, sometimes sharing a room, sometimes, I don't know, Vivekanand Kendra and whatever. Those are other stories altogether. I was being prepared. Someone said pattern. I had this fixed, known thing. No guest, give me my room, separate this out, give me this kind of bathroom. All of it had to dismantle. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? You have to agree to dismantle yourself, because it's in the dismantling you're going to find your greatness, the Guru. That divine light or grace or whatever, sparks of it, it's not like, but you, freedom. I was listening to one of the Bhagavad Gita talks just this morning, and Gurudev made this sentence. He said, on the one hand, we want freedom, inner freedom, right? But we struggle to let go. Isn't it? We struggle to let go. And we're on that journey that Arjuna was on. Struggling to let go of attachment. We have our own attachments and things. So I encourage you, if you're not feeling joy and energy and enthusiasm and freedom and kind of spontaneity and like, let's go, then you're holding yourself back. Lose. Agree to lose. It's not because you have a guru or don't have a guru. If you're listening out there, whether you have a guru or not, you meditate or not, life is asking you to agree to lose. It is an inevitable journey to your own greater self, higher self, like it or not. You know? In terms of other persons' growth and development, Gurudev said, only a master can know. You do not know. You do not know who sits in front of you. Just think about it. When Gurudev was with, TM, right? Who would have thought that he is who he is? Who knew? I can tell you, he spent 11 hours one time on a flight telling me all the stories of that journey and what that was like. And at the time, I thought it's all chit-chat. Gurudev telling me from UK to Pittsburgh. Actually, UK to Pittsburgh. 11 hours. Story after story after story. And at that time, I just thought, like, I'm telling you stories. He's telling me stories. But they were all things that were to come in my journey. So it's not that because you have a good... If you're on a common journey of life where you're checking off your list of school and money and house and spouse and kids and so on, and your yearly vacation, even then you are on a journey to your higher, greater good, higher self. And for that, you have to do what I'm suggesting. Agree to lose. Third question. Yes? Can I tell you one more story? And what was that other sentence? Which makes us realize how fortunate we are. I'll tell you, maybe it's not even a story, but it's a thought. Honestly, it's an honest question. You know the 4 a.m. club? Do you know what that means? Yes? 4 a.m. means it's a term used for business people, like CEOs. They find themselves awake in the morning at 4 a.m., worried about if and then and what and how. About the company. No? But we're all, whether we're CEOs or not, are part of that 4 a.m. club at some point or another, where we wake up and say, is this it? There's got to be more. How many of you have had this? Really, raise your hand and wave, where you say, life can't be just my 2 kids and my spouse and my mom and dad and my job and my house. I think there is always a wound of emptiness in all of us, whether we acknowledge it or not. We quickly fill it up with something. This is true. We feel a void and we very quickly run to find some distraction. Yes? Very quickly. But that actually makes the hole a little bigger and deeper. I can say for me, that has been the case. It makes the hole a little deeper and a little bigger. And then one day, that 4 a.m. club, you say, oh my God, this really is it. This is it. Hook or crook, this is it. Live or die, this is it. And then it's like a mountain on your chest for some time. You can't breathe, it's like, really? This is it? And when we have a guru and when we're doing seva and we have all that power that he puts out for us, the energy, right? Navratri, Chandi Homa, so on. Yes? And we are elated. And there's so much gift and grace and blessing. And even then, somewhere it sneaks in. Does it or not? It sneaks in. That's it. This is it. It's not very inspiring, but it's a fact. If there's any fact in life, that's a fact. Like everything's changing, this is it. And if we get that this is it, then everything you do out there, saying hello to somebody, going to work, coming home from work, you do it with a certain kind of juice in life. Do you get what I'm saying? Then you say hello. If you get upset, you get upset. If you're happy, you're happy. But you let go and you go for it. You say, come on, let's go. You know? Sometimes, like I think, okay, I'm 62 years old. Sometimes I'm sitting around, 30-year-olds. So boring. Because they're all like subdued and all serious and I gotta achieve something. And, oh my God, bore me to death, will you please? Yes or no? There's no liveliness and energy and enthusiasm and excitement and come on, let's go. Just a little bit of ha ha ha, but then everything else is sublimated. Because they haven't yet come to, this is it. The distractions appear to give the impression there's more. Yes? So it's youth that gives that energy. It's not self. It's youth. It's the hormone, the drug. Did you understand what I'm saying? That's why we say youth is wasted on the youth. You don't realize what you have until it's gone. But youthfulness comes when you really say, I cannot afford to live a life that's lukewarm. I don't want to live a lukewarm life. Have you ever gone to a tub that's lukewarm or a bucket of water that's lukewarm? You're better off not showering. Because it's just disgusting. Ugh. Make it hot or make it cold, but this tepid. No? That's not the middle path. That's just give up. No? Give up. Oh, dribble. Ugh. Was that inspiring? Yes? Give me a hand. Give yourself a hand. Jai Gurudev. God bless. Whatever journey you're on, walk with springs under your feet, Run. Just, I'm here. Let's play. God bless everybody. Jai Gurudev.